Hello everyone, Blue Star Saber here once again to do another One Piece chapter review. Chapter 1090, Kizaru. This is my first One Piece review in quite a while, from what I'm just taking a look at my own channel right now. I have not done a review since 2 weeks ago. Luckily for me, One Piece has been on quite a few breaks, and I think this one came out early. But before the next chapter is out, I am going to review 1090, titled Kizaru, meaning that we're probably going to get implying that we're going to get pretty focused on Kizaru or not, or at least somewhat focus on him. But yeah. But before we begin, we've got the reader request, A Black Cat, Kuro quietly reading by Toriyaku, in which you see Kuro reading with a bunch of black cats with glasses. It's been a while since Kuro's appeared, and we see him in the more modern-day Oda's art style, which I think is pretty cool. It might be that Oda's just drawing him because of the whole upcoming live action, which will come out in a few more days. But I do recall seeing some people being disappointed that this was the beginning of a cover story, but I have a feeling that, with the exception of, like, Buggy and his crew and Hachi, you're not going to see any of the East Blue Saga villains anytime soon. Sorry, Gin fans, but yeah. Anyway, on to the chapter, in which a double-parated spread, in which follows up immediately after the Straw Hats meet. Let's see, after York's conversation with the five elders. You pretty much have Luffy starting out the conversation by saying, "Hello, this is Monkey D. Luffy, the man who will become king of the pirates." And someone's going like, "What the heck are you doing, Luffy?" As he goes like, "We have Dr. Vegapunk. If you value York's life, move all ships away from the shore." And she's like, "Ah, help me!" And you've got Kizaru just looking on, I think maybe surprised by the reactions, but the Marines are definitely like, "My God, Straw Hat, he's a true monster. Just as he's as evil as the stories and rumors say, if you will." And we turn then cut to also the World Economic Journal, where they seem to be listening in on the conversation with Morgan's being shot, and Vivi going like, "Luffy, really?" As if though, let's see, Luffy's just confirming Morgan's biased article. So, there. But anyway, you have the five elders remaining calm, going like, "You are Straw Hat Luffy, correct?" And then they try to ask if who's still alive and all that stuff. Well, Luffy saying that, "Oh, well, some of us are injured, and then either Nami or Robin, though it seems to imply to be at least Robin from the following panel, but it could have been just Nami just shutting it as well, as we see her panting ahead. But after that, Luffy, no, the communication gets interrupted. Let's see, you've got Saint Jupiter, if you will, or Saint Peter, going, "Is that a woman's voice? Is that Nico Robbins?" But but who knows? I mean, we'll probably have to wait until the anime to get clarification on that one. But Nico Robbins saying that, telling Luffy, saying that information is a weapon. Don't hand it to the enemy and all that stuff. But Luffy's like, "Oh," but still smiling, going like, "Oh, sorry, my bad." But let's see, but he thinks that they're going to move their ships now, since what he's just said. But Usopp's going like, "No, you idiot, they won't. There's no way the Navy would do that." But anyway, we see that Saturn has listened in and thinking, and he talks about how there are three things that they must keep safe or retain, depending on the translation. First being York's safety, then of course Punk Records' brain, and then, of course, the power plant that creates the Mother Flame, saying that everything else is disposable. In which we see, Vice Admiral Dondarnum, I believe. Yeah, I think it's Vice Admiral Dondarnum. Let me just double check. Yep, it's I got that right, I believe. Hold on. Oops. Yep. But he just goes on. Let's see. But he goes like, but Rob Lucci is there. There in the group as well as the other Cypher Pol agents are being held hostage. But Saturn says that he's just speaking on the worst case scenario, and telling them not to lose sight of the highest priority, which I believe Doberman, which he responds, and Saturn goes about how human lives are nothing more than insects. They will always breed to make up for any loss that they have. And interestingly, from his reaction, he seems to be just covering his eyes and going like, let's see, at least you can't see the eyes, but as the shadow over his marine hat, going like, yes, sir, just seemingly disobedient, but not, and seemingly implying that he's not on board with us fully. But yeah. So yeah, and then you've got like the female vagabond crying, "You do realize what you've done? I have agreement with the 5 elders. If you hurt me, this whole island will go up in smoke, just like O'Hara did, and as a result of this, Nami ends up beating the living daylights out of York, whacking her on the head, and she's going like, "Oh, that hurts!" And Nami says like, "I'm gonna tell the fire." So it's like, and York being a bit like a child, going, "I'm gonna tell on the 5 elders." Let's see what Nami gets like being angry, saying, "Do it, make my day," with Zoro trying to calm her down, saying, "Whoa, she's unarmed, Nami." We just got Robin smiling and then Chopper asking if she's feeling okay. And she says thanks. Yeah, she is, and thanking Chopper for that. And Chopper does his another like, don't compliment me, you jerk, sort of gag. I have to admit, it's been a while since I've seen that gag, but then you see in this double panel spread, you see Kaku just commenting about how he's in the beat up state he is, even I think he's pathetic from going up against only just against 2 Sephram. But Rob Lucci seems to be trying to calm him down, just telling him to go back to sleep. And then you've got Lilith, crying about Shaka, Pythagoras, and Edison, but Edison is still alive and ends up just shouting, "Hey, I'm still alive, Lilith!" And I believe you've got Usopp telling Lilith to pipe down as he's getting in touch with the basement. But pretty much you see in the double panel Nami trying to keep hitting York. Frankie just watching on a son with Brock, and Zoro trying to stop her. Sanji just going or googly eyes over Barney as she's eating alongside Luffy. Robin and just Chopper going together. Vegapunk just looking on to what I think Atlas is doing. Lilith, of course, crying over the sadness of York, and Rob Lucci just looking after Kaku, and Usopp trying to get in touch with the basement. But yeah. But anyway, you hear Rob Lucci saying that 4 are seriously wounded as you get a close-up of Edison and Lilith. 2 Vegapunks dead. The Straw Hats are... But Kaku notices, like, "What are you up to, Lucci?" And he says, "Just talking to myself." And this is starting to end. This is pretty much, as anyone probably guessed, Rob Lucci is trying to inform the world government that at least the 5 elders that the kind of sat with the Straw Hats as so they can get the information that they need. Anyway, I'm just gonna, for my first bit here, I just love the fact Luffy just says to the first communication Luffy has with the 5 elders, he does what he always does when he gets a Den Den mission, declares himself, "Hello, this is Monkey D. Luffy. I'm gonna be king of the pirates. It doesn't matter if it's Don Flamingo, Big Mom, let's see, admirals, let's see, Sengoku, whoever, heck, it could even be God himself, probably. Luffy would declare himself as Pirate King. So, yeah. But it's very just cool to have this sort of conversation with Luffy and the five elders, even if it was briefly short. I'm hoping that they'll have, a much longer conversation, but at least one of them will, if Saturn and Luffy encounter each other in this arc. But yeah. But I do like how he's just going like, we have Dr. Vegapunk with us, and saying, and in many ways being perhaps maybe a bit like Luffy-like in a sense, but going like, if you don't comply, we will use York we will harm York. If you try to mess with our escape and all that stuff, which seems a bit out of character, but given how Luffy learned that York's a shield, that we need to use York as a shield to get out, we might as well do. And to be fair, it's not like the first time Luffy has used someone as a shield, if we remember Captain Buggy. But Luffy's just sounding totally menacing that it just kind of shocks a bunch of people, particularly like the Marines. Kizaru, I'm wondering, is just being a bit puzzled by Luffy's behavior here, but all the regular Marines like, wow, Straw Hat is as villainous as he says. Or is as villainous as the stories say, which will be quite interesting, as this probably might now start to spread amongst like the Marine ranks a bit more for those who survived the Egghead incident, or the Egghead siege, if you will. But interesting enough, Big Muse Morgan is listening in along with Vivian Ritzy and, of course, Wappo, so it probably means that Luffy's group is going to probably encounter them sooner rather than later, but given the conversation they're listening in, they're pretty much like, oh my god, Luffy's actually playing the bad guy, or at least Vivi is from the way the translation is like, Luffy, are you seriously doing this? I mean, it's like, Vivi knows that Luffy is not the type of character to do this, but given the way he's sounding right now, even she can't probably make excuses from out of context. But granted, Morgans does not. I don't think Morgans and her realize that York is the traitor Vegapunk and arranged the entire events. But at the very least, I'm pretty certain that Morgans is going to have all this conversations recorded, and it's going to be spread amongst the world, so everyone's going to think that Luffy's the bad guy, so yeah. But I do like how the sort of five elders are trying to like, okay, Luffy's being a bit of an idiot right now, so let's see if we can get information by asking how many of you are, and Luffy nearly does, only to be stopped by Robin and Nami, and I do like how Robin is like, Luffy, don't give out information to the enemy, but it's like, and I do like how Luffy just like, okay, sorry, realizing he made a mistake, but also being a bit naive and saying, the ships will go away now, right? But Usopp saying like, no, but yeah, but I think the crew's just so used to Luffy's personality, they just know when to stop him and how to respond to his foolishness, really. So there's that. The interesting thing as of note is to learn that according to Saturn, they have three things to protect. York herself, that's an obvious, because they need her to make the Mother Flames. The power plant, of course, itself, because they need to make more Mother Flames with that, so they need those two together. But the interesting thing is the fact they want to keep Punk records safe. I mean, it's Vegapunk's brain, so destroying the brain would mean the death of Vegapunk, but it has so much knowledge and resources, and my guess is since it's York's a Vegapunk, they need York to be connected to that in order to like access all that technology and create it for the world government. So yeah. So it's also going to be like the vital thing for like York being the world government's world noble and scientist, if you will, because she'll pretty much be building all the big advanced tech that's going to stack the world government that requires that grand alliance around the world of pirates, revolutionaries, and kingdoms to team up together and take down the world government. So, yeah, understand why they need that. Now, interesting enough, Doberman says, like, let's do about Rob Lucci and the other Cypher polls. So it's interesting that we get a bit about his character here. He seems to, at the very least, granted, he was the one that hyped up Rob Lucci, from what I recall some people saying. And from what I recall from the anime itself, is that he seems he has at least some value for comrades, despite his absolute justice mentality amongst the Marines, and his particular or his like hatred of criminal bloodlines. But yeah, but he seems pretty more morale here than Saturn when Saturn just decides that they're insects, they are disposable and can be breeded again. Now, granted, Saturn does at least seem to like at least saying that's the worst possible outcome, but even if Rob Lucci and the others die, he doesn't seem to feel that too much of a loss. And arguably, this is the first time we've actually seen one of the five elders act like the rest of the world nobles, that everyone below them is insects, human lives are disposable. Normally, they seem to be a bit concerned, or at least to compliment the tragic loss of a kingdom, or at least some important individuals, like what happened with Orahara. Some of them seem visibly disturbed that, Orahara's learned too much, we have no choice but to destroy it now. And even here with Vegapunk, they seem a bit reluctant, but feel like they have no choice but to do so. So, yeah. On the second, we got, it seems like the Dom Barham, despite his absolute justice, he seems to be, at least has some morality, and we finally see some of the arrogance and cruelty of the five elders world nobles, which shouldn't be surprised given the fact they're celestial dragons, but since they seem a bit more rational and at least seem to value some human life, it's like you weren't sure if they were going to be like decent individuals or not, but seems like they've made their they are more like celestial dragons than we perhaps were led to believe initially. I just like how pathetic York is and saying, "See, the world noble, the five elders got my back. You mess with me, you end up like Orahara," and acting like a bit of a whiny spoiled brat. But I do like how Nami's the one that ends up hitting her due to the sake of Robin, because of like she knows how it's a sore spot for Robin. It's like, how dare you? Which I think will get a lot of Nami and Robin shippers excited, or be it romantic or besties, but how you see that ship. And that fact that Nami's going so bad that you have Zoro hitting him. But anyway, I'm just glad that we actually get all the remaining Straw Hats and others that were missing, like Robin and then Kaku, as we learned that Robin was a bit injured and Kaku was severely injured. And I do like how he seems to compliment his own lack of thing. But to be fair to him, to Sephiroth, they're shown to be dangerous. They even gave Blackbeard a bit of a scare. So, I don't really blame him. But I do like how with Lilith's crying, we end up, despite the fact that she mistaken Edison to being dead, we have got actually confirmed that Pythagoras and Shaka are dead. Which I think it's good that Oda has confirmed that these two characters are dead, because, well, even when Shaka got shot through the head, people were like, is he actually dead or is he still alive? Because One Piece and because Oda, but I think even Oda probably realized that I can't excuse a headshot. So, Shaka is dead and Pythagoras is dead. So 2 out of the 6 satellites are dead. So there's only now 5 Vegapunks left, but one of them's a traitor. So the Vegapunks have pretty much been down to half their forces, really. But I do like Edison just saying, "I'm still alive, Lilith," but I might have already said that. But yeah, it is nice to actually see some deaths. I mean, granted, I will miss Shaka. He was probably my favorite of the Vegapunks besides Lilith. But yeah. But it's interesting to say it like that, over that, despite the fact that Shaka and Lilith seem to argue quite a bit. Lilith always getting annoyed by Shaka because his goody two-shoe nature does seem to actually care about Shaka, and when she found out he was dead, it seems like she got very upset. So yeah, she does care for fellow Vegapunks. Well, probably no longer York since her treachery. But yeah. Anyway, I do like how, despite Luffy and Robin's best efforts to keep information for the Five Elders, you have Rob Lucci telling the world government everything, and I think this shouldn't really be a surprise to anyone. They were only doing a temporary truce when the Sephiroth were trying to kill them, and it's no surprise that and let's see. So now once that has been settled out with, it'll be over. But here, Rob Lucci is pretty much acting like a spy and assassin should. So props to him. So yeah. I say that's probably it's more fitting in his character. Now, granted, let's see. Does that mean Rob Lucci's going to fight some of the Straw Hats again? I doubt he's going to have a rematch with Luffy, but who knows? With all the different Vice Admirals here, there's enough for each of the Straw Hats, so it could be possible that Bonnie ends up fighting one of the Vice Admirals instead. And you could have someone like Rob Lucci fighting either Zoro or Sanji if Kaku's out of the blank. Though it is interesting that Kaku notices it, so I'm wondering if Kaku is just more applying to work with the Straw Hats from now, or he's still Lord of the World Government but doesn't quite understand what's going fully on here. So, yeah, there's that. Anyway, moving on to the next bit of the chapter. Hold on. Oops, I seem to have... There we go. So anyway, we go to another double-page spread. Oda's doing a lot of double-page spreads this time around. Usopp is checking in on the Cypher Pole agents down in the laboratory basement. And it's revealed that they've all been given drinks and food to eat. Some of them it's going thank you, Straw Hats, you're a savior. But others saying, they're too loud, they're not so loud, they're our enemies. It's sort of like with the G5 Marines and all that stuff. Some of them just being glad they're alive and all that stuff, but some of them are asking Usopp if they can and the Straw Hats if they can let them out, but they said, no, we can't do that. But they ask at least change the scenery because they don't want to be in there next to the Sephiroth, as we learn that they are... As we learn that they're all trapped in the sort of Mark III Vegapunk bubble things, despite Usopp saying, well, aren't they on your side? But they don't trust them, especially if they've gone haywire. So Usopp says to Vegapunk, can you confirm to these lot that they're safe? And Vegapunk confirms those bubble balls that the Mark IIIs use, saying that they produce sea energy into the materials. So as the fact that, let's see, they're Devil Fruit users, so they make good use for trapping power users and all that stuff. So yeah, they mobilize. You see the S-Hawk talking about how dare they trap us. S-Snake going oh, but you got pretty much S-Shark and S-Bear just remaining silent because that fits their characters. But Vegapunk seems to assure all of the Cypher Pole agents. But then the S-Snake just tells the Cypher Pole, says, you can relax or be rest assured, as they've received no orders to kill them, so they have no interest in her. And this fully calms them down, saying you don't? Well, okay then, I guess. And this is where let's see, Frankie thanks S Snake for unpetrifying them and all that stuff from her stone powers. With Vegapunk wondering, like, that's strange. I never programmed you to unpetrify someone without commands. Or without the hierarchy, or by your own choice, if you will. And yes, Snake thinks back to a flashback where we do actually finally get some bit of flashback from the let's see, flashback to let's see what happened between let's see, the York traitor reveal to return to Egghead last chapter, where we see the flashback of Luffy saying to Snake, but calling her Hancock, saying that those are my friends, please, you gotta undo it all. Saying you can save them, please. And then we see it learn that the Snake, like the original Hancock, gets all lovey-dovey for Luffy and starts blushing and going like, ew. The guy like, but all right, I'll do it. Just stop looking at me. Being a bit more of the shy tsundere, I guess, if you will. And Jimbo just laughs, going like, oh, no surprise here. Saying that how, okay, the real Hancock is a piece of work, but can't turn down any request if it comes from Luffy. So saying that Saffron's thinking the same way, saying like she's definitely, or depending on the translation, she is definitely a perfect clone of Hancock. And Vegapunk goes like, "Ooh, this is fascinating." So even for this information transmuted for the bloodline, it's like even like some of the emotions and all that stuff. Let's see, the bloodline elements. So even like some quirks of the Saffrons can just be displayed of their original warlord counterparts, and he's just writing this all down, finding it fascinating for his research. So yeah, that's pretty much where it goes there. Hold on a bit. Hold on, let me just get just a sec. So he's just recording notes. And Luffy ends up just thanking, we go to the next page where Luffy just ends up thanking the Hancock, and she goes like, did you say you love me? Or did he just say he's in love with me? Being like the actual Hancock whenever Luffy does something towards her, and she's like, are we engaged now? So, yeah. With Atlas and going to Stella, asking them, telling them we restored communication systems, but the dome won't open. So, let's see, with him commented that this is a problem since they can't escape the barrier. And this is where York starts mocking them that she's put an encryption and she never uploaded a secret password to her brain. So you won't get from her. And this is where Lilith gets angry and starts trying to beat up York, saying we'll see about that. But saying that... But she asks, under the protection of the world government and the code, let's see, she is safe. So, but ends up starting to get all hungry and saying, I could go for some food now. Much to Lilith's anger. And then Stella comments how they're surrounded by all sides in the sea. So, with 100 marine ships and 30,000 of various sizes and 30,000 men in her estimation, which she's spot on, to be honest. With Vegapunk talking about how it's quite the ordeal, and Sanji just wants to just give her some tea and all that stuff. And then goes to Nami asking, you're the navigator, and she says, yeah, that's correct. So she gives her the sort of log post, saying that the log post hasn't recorded a new signal yet, but they still have one steady needle from one or they can use. It's her saying that it's pointing northwest of here, which Vegapunk ends up revealing to everyone that that would be the location of Elbaf, and this is where Usopp and Luffy goes like reacting and pointing out mouse, going like, "What? Elbaf? We're finally going!" The Isle of the Giants! Rather than just seemingly just staring in the background. And then they'll go, and as you see Luffy and Usopp cheering, going like, Elbaf, 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 everyone is huge, cause they're giants. With instead of going like, oi, don't give me that look to Rob Lucci. So seemingly Rob Lucci still hasn't forgiven Stella, and so probably plans to kill her, like you said earlier. With Vegapunk saying how, fortunately, the Straw Hat ship is currently stationed at the lab phase, but with Navy ships waiting everywhere, it's going to be like they can't really leave port with it. So they need to make their plan. So Vegapunk talks about their plan to get to the northeast direction, the back of the island, and if the Straw Hat ship right next to the Vegapunk Force 1, so they should be able to survive with that, as they could use it to fly over the Navy's blockade, and then afterwards, once they've gotten to the edge of Egghead's airspace, the robot will shut down, but they will be able to leave with the ship. But Frankie says that no problem, we can use the Sunny's Coupe de Burst to fly even further, telling Vegapunk it can fly a kilometer, and none of them will be able to catch them. And Vegapunk is pretty impressed about a ship that can fly an entire kilometer. So he's saying, hey, let's go with Frankie's idea and all that stuff. And as Frankie goes, like, it flies on cola, and he's like, cola? So, yeah. Atlas going like, okay, this is a perfect plan, but first of all, we need to deactivate the dome, and York goes like, I won't tell you the code. And then you get Atlas, Vegapunk, and Edison going, oh, don't underestimate us. Don't play games all with Vegapunk and all that stuff. We'll get cracking as they all try to attempt to bypass past York's code and thinking of all the possible combinations she can use. So, yeah, we've got that. First of all, I do like how the Straw Hats, with the kindness, hold on a second, people. I'm just going to get some more water. I do like the fact that the Straw Hat's kindness. Let's see, it allows them to feed even their enemies, even if they are, well, granted, minor grunt ones at the very least. Not like major ones, but ones that have been held prisoner against their will. They're nice enough to give them food and drink so that they don't starve. So we've got that. So they've got that kindness, and given how we've seen before, when the Straw Hats do kindness like that, they make allies out of the Cypher Pole, out of their enemies, as Chopper did with the Beast Pirates and Sanji did with Gin. So if you go by trend, these lot might actually help the Straw Hats try to escape, but I'm not entirely sure. Maybe just not yet. I mean, you will probably get some Marines and Cypher Pole agents eventually sign with the Straw Hats, but at the moment, I don't think so. But I do like how they seem to struggle, like, oh, they're good guys, oh, they're bad guys, thank you, no, they're bad guys, don't thank them, kind of thing. In many ways, it'll be kind of similar situations like the G5 Marines, who, the more they hanged out with the Straw Hats, the more they admitted they ended up liking them, so they tried to distance themselves, but yeah. But it is interesting to learn that the Sephram have all been captured and in the Sea Stone bubble. I will admit, it's disappointing that we didn't get to see their defeats and the flashbacks. But whether or not Oda is saving that for later, will never show it. At the very least, they've been captured. Though, given the fact they have only very few minor injuries, I still say they're still pretty impressive, because despite all that, they're still able to function and not any of them being completely knocked out or killed or destroyed, and they only just suffered a few minor injuries. So it just goes to show you just how strong these Sephram are of the Warlords. And but I think it's one of the reasons why Oda's not really showing them in a full-on fight is because, well, the Sephirim are being saved later for the final battle against either the Marines or the world government, depending on when the Straw Hats fight what. But the Sephirim have been hyped up as these big major opponents. So we'll probably, when the Straw Hats encounter them again, they'll probably be full-grown adult warlords or something. So we'll just have to wait and see in that part. But but I do like how we're getting a bit more words from S-Hawk, if you will. But of course, S-Snake being the most chatty, saying that we've been not ordered to hunt you guys down, so you have no interest to us. And that seems to finally, and I do like how that seems to finally reassure them, despite the fact that Usopp's having Vegapunk explain to them, oh, don't worry, then you're safe from those Mutzi Mark III bubbles, which goes to show just how dangerous those bubbles are, especially with the Mark III Perfistas, especially if they end up falling into world government's hands by the end of this battle. So quite a few Devil Fruit users we know might be in trouble just even fighting these guys, even though they're not the main big force of the army, but yeah. But anyway, I do like how when you get Frankie thanking her for petrifying him, Vegapunk asks the question, why on earth did she did this? And we finally got the confirmation that everyone predicted that due to the lineage factor, let's see, Hancock's S-Snake clone would be like actual Hancock in terms of personality into Luffy and listens to what she has to say. So interesting. Luffy calls her Hancock, but I guess he's just not bothered and naming the clones by actual names or by their actual Perfista names. But I wouldn't be surprised if Luffy ends up. I don't think Luffy ends up thinking that this is the actual real Hancock. I do think he realizes, but I do think he'll probably mention this to the actual Hancock. And it would be funny to learn how the original Hancock learns about her clone falling in love with Luffy, and I wonder if she'll be mistaken this as some sort of love triangle or I don't know, some witty, complicated love romance subplot. But yeah. But I do like how Jimbo, who's the only other Straw Hat that seems to get a somewhat of an idea of who Hancock is like, this is typical Hancock. She's mean to everyone except Luffy and actually does what he says. So, I do like how Vegapunk is just like, I gotta record notes and all this. So, I think that's a bit of a bonus. But even though I will admit, at least got a flashback of Luffy just asking her to unpetrify everyone. So props to that. Though, interestingly enough, I do wonder when Hancock finally reunites with Luffy, regardless of whether or not Hancock Luffy is the canon ship for Luffy. I am looking forward to seeing how she will react to all of Luffy's adventures, the other Hancock clone, and how the Straw Hats will react to the fact that their captain has got the most beautiful woman in the world, allegedly the most beautiful woman in the world, besides the mermaid princess, to fall in love with him. But who knows? But yeah. Anyway, I do like how Hank the S-Snake has like the sort of getting more of the traits of like when Luffy thanks her, saying like, are you in love with me now or something, like a little bit of a she's being a bit of a shy tsundere, I think, here, but who knows. But yeah. Anyway, I do like how Atlas is trying to alert the Vegapunk how they can't get out without the barriers, and York's just going like, I set up a password, na 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 na. I really do like how angry Lilith gets at the fact that York betrayed them and starts hitting her when they realize that they need to get the password and all that stuff. But York seems unfazed, besides the fact that she's starting to get hungry again. But I doubt anyone's going to want to feed her after what she's done. So she'll have to wait until the world government or five elders are able to save her, or the Marines, if you will. So she has to just wait a bit. But yeah. I do like how Stussy tries to warn everyone about the Marines' size and all that stuff in the siege. But but I do like how Vegapunk goes to Nami and tells her to check the navigation. And even though the new islands haven't been set yet, they can still go to one of the other ones as their options. And I do like how the moment he explains, "Oh, that place is Elbaf," you immediately get Usopp and Luffy's reaction. It was probably the same as a lot of other people. As I think, from what I understand, one of the besides the Laugh Tale itself, where One Piece is hidden, and even Wano, country, Elbaf has been the most long-term island that most Straw Hats have been, particularly Luffy and Usopp, have been waiting to go and set sail. And some people are mostly looking forward to this arc because many believe that this is the arc where Usopp will get the character development and time to shine. So at the very least, we've got confirmation that, yes, we are going to Elbaf, which I think makes sense because, well, Robin now needs to reunite with Sol and learn all the Urahara secrets. So there's that reason. And not to mention, you just got Luffy just being excited in the fact that the Redhead pirates are sort of stationed there, that they just left, so I doubt the Straw Hats will see them. And also, you get reunited with all the giant characters that we knew for quite a bit. But I do like Usopp and Luffy's song about Elbaf, which apparently is the one they sang when they first encountered the giants all those years ago in Little Garden Act, which I did manage to recently read a couple of weeks back. But so I do like how they do that. But other than that, I do like how the Vegapunks make a plan that since they're going to head to Elbaf, they need to go northeast with the base around the back. Use the Vega Force 1 to fly with the robot until it reaches the limit of the airspace of Egghead, and then use the Sunny to sail away. But I do like how Frankie is able to impress his idol Vegapunk here with the coup de burst. We're flying a kilometer into the air, and he finds that fascinating, thinking it's a good plan. No, I do like how he seems to be a bit perplexed or puzzled or even curious that it's powered by Cola, so may I ask Frankie to show him his Cola-powered source technology. So there's that. But I will admit, Frankie has been a bit disappointing in that he's not seemed to have gotten any major character, but he's definitely been the one that's reacted and excited the most over Vegapunk, and the one that seems to be most eager to try and please him. So, I do like that. But I do, of course, like how York is like, you're not getting the passport, so the other Vegapunks, we'll show you we're the smartest mind, as they're going to try and now hack it. Now, personally, I think it's going to be something rather simple, and who knows? Let's see, password to break through, but who knows what it could be. But given how One Piece can be quite funny sometimes, I wouldn't be surprised if Luffy's the one that accidentally figures out the password after talking to York or overhearing her say something. But I do like how the majority of the Vegapunks are determined to prove York wrong. So But anyway, with a couple of pages left, let's see, we then cut to a little flashback where Vegapunk's saying, Lilith, I want you to use Vega Force 1 to get them there. And all that stuff. So you see Lilith running with Luffy, Frankie, and Julie Bonnie. And all that stuff, telling them to get her to move on and head to the ship, saying that we gotta hurry so they gotta hurry when the barrier could come down at any moment and all that stuff. Whereas as one of them comments that's a good point, since the enemy since they can escape the enemy, but they can also be attacked by enemy as a result. And we learned a bit of interesting conversation. So Lilith says that she's never actually been off the island, So this is her first time leaving, so she's excited for an adventure. And I'm in a very similar manner to Carrot, so we've got that. But Frankie points out this ain't a field trip, but Luffy's like, let's see, saying that whatever it is, we don't have enough food to go on board. So you got Julie Bonnie agreeing, saying that we eat a whole days of pizza, eat a whole day of it. We should have more pizza, but Luffy says cheese is enough for Sanji to make it into a pizza on its own. So you got Bunny commenting about how hey, that's pretty cool. You've got a good cook and a powerhouse. So this probably built a bit of Sanji and Bonnie shippers, but yeah. But Luffy's obsessed with how come Bonnie's so chill for all of a sudden. She explains she's decided not to kill Vegapunk, but Luffy's like, I guess all that crying last night did you good. And she's like, I wasn't crying. So we've got that bit there. And then we cut to... hold on. We then cut to the marine ships where, Kizaru is talking to Saturn or Barcelona, if you... Barcelona or Barcelona or something. But I'm just going to keep calling him Kizaru. Ends up... talking about the transformation they've got from Rob Lucci, saying that they've got every details of what's going on inside, sending them to share it with all the ships. On a sec. So let me just give me a sec here. Oh yeah. With him asking, with Saturn asking, did you hear that, old Borsalino? And him going like, let's see, yeah, I did. Straw Hat may be talking a big game like he's in control, but it seems they're actually trapped inside. So, and he ends up telling them that when the Frontier Dome is a laser system, right? Can you, and since like he's asking, since you're a light user, can you get inside? Which Kizaru says, well, frankly, I can, but says that talks about how a good friend of his is there, defending Dr. Vegapunk below him, but Saturn says just leap over him, but Bolsonaro or Kizaru goes on about how that's not really a sporting thing to do when a man is making a principal stand like that, thinking I would rather play this one by the book and rather face him head on and his commitments, but then tries to use some logic saying that you should know that if we attack, it'll mean countless sea beasts and 50 pacifistas firing under our ships under Sentomaru's command. So we're going to see when they start sinking, hold on, and when they start sinking their ships command, they start sinking their ships. There'll be heavy casualties on both sides in this. And Saturn goes like, going on about like, oh boy, time is of the essence. So he's asking, where's the power plant? So he's trying to get, let's see, Kizaru, because Kizaru was pretty much debunked his theory of dealing past Sentomaru first. So it says like, all right, do you have an idea where it is? But Kizaru says that due to Rob Lucci is a very capable agent, so he sent all the information that he wanted to know, so he's about to head off. So, yeah, I'm just going to review these next three chapters, these pages. I do like how, let's see, while the other Vegapunks are busy, Lilith is getting the Figure Force 1, as that was her original job. And she's probably seems to be the one that relied to do more manual labor or more battle labor compared to the rest of the remaining, satellites of Vegapunk. And to be fair, she's always eager to get a fight. But it's interesting to learn that she's actually never left Egghead before, which is a bit strange since... let's see. I think the York reveal implied that the Vegapunks all did visit the world Marie-Joie together. As a result, they all witnessed the cruelty of the world nobles, and they got disgusted, except of course York. But it seems like that's not actually the case with Lilith here, so it might actually imply that Vegapunk did see the celestial dragons and the five elders, and as a result, recorded in his brain, ended up saying about how and finding the whole situation disastrous, but York, perhaps accessing the memories, found the lifestyle of the world nobles to be more suited for her needs, if you will. So, but yeah. Anyway, I do like how Luffy and Bonnie are talking about how, despite the fact they've eaten quite a lot, a whole day's worth of food, they still need to bring more on with pizzas. And this leads to Luffy leading the big boast one about how Sanji can make any pizza from just cheese alone. Ritzy so hyping him up as like the best cook, which, to be fair, that would Ritzy be Luffy when it comes to Han, and it comes to like and I'm starting to think Star Wars here, but I think that's always going to be like Luffy and his crew, particularly like with Sanji's cooking skills. So yeah. Oh boy, I'm starting to get tired. So yeah. But it's interesting that you have Barney starting to compliment Sanji's cooking and his skills, which has led to some to believe that Barney might actually be an imposter. But otherwise not. You might start getting some Barney Sanji shippers. So, but which I think Sanji doesn't mind, as he likes to love all ladies if he can. I do like how Luffy asking why is she all cheerful, and we learned that apparently she no longer wants to kill Vegapunk. Now, this has led to some theories that she's actually Kevon Devon, disguised as Barney, that managed to infiltrate with Laftier, and took in Barney hostage for some reason, and a plan to try and access the information from Vegapunk that they need through Dritzy Devon disguised Lilith, the evil, if you will. But yeah. That's one thing. The other theory, of course, is that she finally now understands why her father did what he did, and there's no point in taking revenge on Vegapunk now, and there's maybe to move on in this part of her life and then push forward, regardless of what it is in the memories. So, granted, we still have yet to get the Kuma flashback. I think many people expected to get that on Egghead by this point, but we've only gotten a bit of glimpses of it, of how Kuma was treated as a young child slave from the looks of things. So yeah, we'll probably learn more over time, but yeah, it's hard to say right now. If Julie Barney is actually Kevon Devon, or she's gone through some character development, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. On a second. Here we are. I do like how, Kizaru and Saturn are just having a conversation of planning what to do with their next moves. And after that, they got the intel from Rob Lucci. They understand the whole situation a bit better inside and realize that the Straw Hats are actually trapped. You get Kizaru thinking that Luffy's being a bit cocky and arrogant, thinking that he has the whole situation under control. But he's instead actually trapped. So I don't think Kizaru realizes he's probably underestimating Luffy here, and as he probably should learn from like the other Yonko and the pirate crew. So you should never underestimate Luffy, even though you have beaten him once. That was back when he was a rookie, a new pirate rookie, but now he's like pretty much the one of the top 4 emperors here. So he's got to be careful of what he says. I think some people have commented on his own words and not matching some of the stuff that comes to primaries and Republican debates in the US, but I could be wrong there. So, Yeah, but pretty much you finally got to get Kizaru seeming to making his move. I do like how Saturn says, you're a laser man, you should be light man, you should be able to transfer from them. And we get he says he's not quite sure, but he think, or at least he says he quite frankly can, but he still has like at least one friend of his that's defending the Vegapunk and wants to keep her alive, which is clearly Sabine. But he goes like, just ignore him. But I do like how as like Saturn does not give a rat's ass about let's see, Stingray from Cobra Kai, if you will, but Kizaru, and for the first time we see a bit of character to him where he's always been a bit unclear. Justice, is he more of like it seems from the last chapter he's by the book, says he's by the book type of Marine. We learn here he does actually have some sort of moral code about himself and will allow people to fight for it regardless of its outcome. For example, Sentomaru, despite his powerful strength and all that, he couldn't really protect where he grew up. So he was recruited by the Marines, so there's that. And he's been trained to have the best defense, but hold on. But yeah, so normally Kizaru then to lose a relationship, Sentomaru's relationship with Kizaru, he does know what he's capable of, so he just tries to volunteer and deal with him, even though he doesn't want to do so. But despite Saturn's protests, I do like how he does the logical argument of saying that, let's see, Sentomaru will immediately activate the Paphistas and the sea beasts if they start to attack, so we need to take him out first. So I do like how both, and let's see, Kizaru has his own bit more of his own sense of justice, where it's been unclear, but he seems to at least have some decent qualities from these last few arcs. Though I haven't seen him react to the big sketchbook I had in my art class, but I'm probably talking about a bit about myself here. So I should probably not go into that details, but yeah, sorry about that. But Kizaru is pretty much like it, using his own personal Ritzy code and using logical argument to force Saturn to apply to his own strategy so that he can like fight Sentomaru. So I do like that. But anyway, you finally get the remaining Marines being told to prepare for battle, and they're all getting ready. You start to see some of the vice admirals, like the one with like the big beard and the pointy ears, turns out to be quite chubby, saying that, telling 6 power users to get ready for battle, with them saying, yes, sir. The elderly one saying, liberate the captive Cypher Pol agents. With one of them responding to that, and one of the multiple nexus saying how their cannons as worthless against the Paphistas, so use them on the sea beasts. With one of them going like, yes, sir, the one with the sort of 2-fanged spike, and the big of the like top hat thing is getting ready. You have Luffy just enjoying the Sky Island ground, jumping about saying how this is fun. But Frankie saying, even though he like is laughing along at it at first, Kurt tells Luffy to take it seriously. As I think Julie Barney points, look, there's the Sunny, as Ritzy is walking towards the giant robot. Anyway, Kizaru, using the sacred Yata Mura move, is able to like travel around, avoiding sea beasts and all else. With Sentomaru finally saying, so you're finally here, old man, and then gives the orders to the Paphistas to eliminate all hostiles. With Kizaru going like, here I go, Sentomaru, and let's see, and Sentomaru just shouts, my defense is the world's greatest, using his defensive move thing, and you see the light and Sentomaru's hockey clash, feeling a bit of a big explosion where that shocks some of the others, with them going like, huh? Where's that light from below and all that stuff? and Luffy in a sort of panicked voice saying, "Someone's here, someone's strong," realizing that Kizaru is probably here and clashing Sentomaru, ending the chapter. First of all, I will say I do like how the Marines are preparing for battle, saying like, okay, if you have the 6 powers, let's see, get ready to make land for when the battle starts, or others like going, let's see, make sure you help the captured Cypher Pole agents, and the other one being like, let's see, target the cannons at the sea beasts. We can't do with the pacifista Mark ones, so makes me wonder what they're going to use to deal with them. But they haven't moved yet. But yeah, I do like that. I do like how Luffy's just trying to play about with the Sky Island like thing, and even though Frankie would be impressed himself, it's telling Luffy to focus. So we do have that. I do like how Lilith is just going straight to the Vega Force 1, not being dawdled by anything. But anyway, I do like how Sentomaru, Kizaru is using the Light Mirror to travel about, and you can see just how fast he's traveling, passing Sea Beast and getting to town, but not fast enough for Sentomaru to realize that, oh, you're coming and all that stuff, as he's smiling like Kenpachi. I do like that. I do like how before Kizaru could stop his commands, he pretty much orders the pacifistas to eliminate all hostiles. So arguably the siege has begun, and you're about to see the 50 pacifistas against, let's see, 1,000 Marines and their 1,000, about 100 battleships. So yeah. But I do like how Kizaru is going like, here I go, Sentomaru. And you have Sentomaru going like, my defense is the strongest in the world, though I think that's pretty much been debunked by some Yonko. But and he did get wounded by Rob Lucci, but of course Rob Lucci got stronger. So yeah. But you're seeing him do a bit of a clash against Kizaru. He's doing quite well, and this is probably a fight that no one expected coming. But I think let's see, at least at first they would be on the opposing side since they were big allies in Sharaovi. But now that Vegapunk is now an enemy of the world government, allied with Luffy, you have this situation where they two clash. I will admit, Sentomaru is doing quite well with his armament hockey, that he's able to block an admiral's first move and all that stuff. Usually one that's been quite the finisher move for Kizaru, but yeah. But I think I've seen some people say this is a bit of a win for Rob Lucci, since even though he hasn't had quite the biggest or best track record in fighting in the current Disney Star Wars canon lore, I will admit, let's see, with the fact that Sentomaru has managed to shield an admiral, just shows just how impressive Rob Lucci's attack must have been, even if he had his guard let down for a bit. But anyway. But I think the most interesting thing to note here is how Luffy's reacting to like the clash. Realize that, ooh, someone's very strong. So I do wonder if Luffy still has a bit of fear of Kizaru, because he was like the admiral that pursued the Straw Hats and nearly annihilate them, if not the Kuma. But who knows? But I'm pretty certain that Luffy shouldn't really worry about Kizaru, and I think Luffy can beat him. The only question thing is, how are they going to defeat him? Because he seems to think Luffy's a bit of an arrogant one, so I wouldn't be surprised if he just charges him head on, but I wouldn't be surprised if he decides to do some strategy meetings and how to the best way to deal with Luffy. But at the moment, I definitely say, let's see, Sentomaru versus Kizaru. That'll probably end next chapter, and then afterwards it'll probably be him versus Luffy and the rest of the Straw Hats, and I think this time the Straw Hats will probably win it. So, there we go with that. Overall, I'd give this chapter sort of a 8 to 9 out of 10, or somewhere in between. I think it's a pretty good chapter for the most part. Luffy declaring himself the Pirate King to the 5 Elders. Let's see, and let's see, learning that some of the Vegapunks are dead. You got the siege actually beginning for Egghead, And you got let's see learning. Yes, Snake, any other Saffron does exhibit personality traits from their warlord counterparts, which the world government should be wary of. Gecko Moria, Crocodile, and Doflamingo, but we'll find out if there's more. Those are just the last ones we've yet to see. But I do like how we see the Straw Hat's kindness in helping their enemies, and learning that the Saffron have been also trapped. And I do like how we've got the unexpected fight until probably the beginning of this arc, or the main plot point of this arc is, let's see, the Marines and the world government trying to assassinate Vegapunk. So you got that bit of history there with Kizaru and Sentomaru that they've clashed. I would expect Sentomaru to probably be taken down by tomorrow, the day after. But yeah, it doesn't look good for our heroes, and I do think it's a good cliffhanger for Luffy to be worried, like, oh crud, it's the Admiral that forced my crew to split up. So yeah, pretty good chapter, though I will admit I'm a little disappointed that we didn't get flashbacks explaining how the Straw Hats got in the position where they were. But the closest we get is Luffy just saying, Hancock, can you unpetrify? But whether or not we'll get more info or in the anime, or maybe some more information down the line in the manga, at the moment this is all that we've got. But Luffy versus Kizaru seems to be incoming, and now Luffy's going to be fighting him. You for those who end up listening, despite me being a bit tired towards the end, I hope you liked what I had to say, and I look forward to seeing you when the next time I'm reviewing and streaming One Piece. So I am Blue Star Saber, signing off. Thank you, goodbye. So yeah, and I hope you enjoyed this chapter as much as I do, despite the lack of Kizaru. So yeah, goodbye, everyone.